Allie, and welcome to the third episode of Funny Fat Friend, a podcast about this bodacious biracial babe trying to find herself in film. Today I have a wild and wonderful guest with me. I like alliteration.
I don't know. I love alliteration too. I appreciate that. What was the bodacious biracial
babe? Yeah. Triple B.
Triple B.
Yeah. All right. You're funny, and here's the nice things I wrote about you. He's very funny. Mm-hmm. He's a great artist.
Oh.
And this one time, he let a stranger shave his head for basically no reason, and you can watch it on his YouTube channel right now.
I filmed it. That was the reason.
That's enough, I guess. Yep. That's what I've learned from doing this podcast. Just to film it is enough reason to do anything. But anyway, this is my friend Javier. Say hello, Javier. You've already talked.
Hello. Hi. Thanks, Allie. I'm Javier.
So, this is the big question.
Do
you feel like you're able to see yourself or identify with a lot of characters in the movies you see?
All the awkward white guys in movies, and like mainly
John
indie
Hughes
movies too.
Movies.
Yes, John Hughes. Oh, and then like Garden State. Or
you're better than
that type. No. See, here's the thing. Those characters pop up a lot because those are the reflections of the filmmakers themselves.
Okay.
So I see them a lot, but I don't like them. I don't like those people. I don't want to be those people. So physically, yeah, I guess. Yeah. But emotionally and spiritually, no, I don't think so.
Okay.
I like seeing other people in movies.
I think you remind me of like the Cyber Chase dude in Scooby-Doo and Cyber.
Whoa. Oh, Shaggy?
Nope, the Cyber Chase.
The Cyber Chase.
Man.
Wait, the Cyber Ghost.
The Cyber Ghost.
Does he have a personality?
He's just like fun.
He's a fun guy.
He's a fun ghost.
No, he's not. That's the whole point of the movie, is that he traps them in a simulation. Does he become good in the end? That would be cool.
He seems fun.
I do like his shape.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I think that's enough.
All right, I like that. And recently, too many people have been telling me that I look like Adam Driver. They'll even ask me, "Oh, do you know that you look like Adam Driver?" I'm like, "Yeah." It's mainly the nose. So I'm glad that there's a prominent actor nowadays who's got a big schnoz. I can jump on the schnoz train. And
I really like Adam Driver.
Allie.
Yeah?
Do you see yourself in movies?
Nope, that's the problem. Here we are.
Oh.
And we've arrived at the third episode of the podcast about how I don't see myself in films. But anyway, we're working on it.
Will this be the one, though?
It's not, but it was a very good time. So the movie that we watched for this one is the 1998 self-described romantic comedy drama.
What? Who described the movie? Described itself that way?
I typed in the movie and I said, "Hey, tell me about yourself." And it said, "Well, I was made in 1998, and I describe myself as a romantic comedy drama." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna type that in my notes."
Based on a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah, it was. Who also wrote another book that I recognize the name, and now I completely forget what it is.
Oh yeah, she wrote much better books.
Good for her. But she does. She has two of them were made into movies, I think. And it was the other one that was made into a movie that is better, and I don't remember. But anyway, it's How Stella Got Her Groove Back. It's How Stella Got Her Groove Back.
Written by Terry McMillan, but that's the book. We're not talking about the book.
I did find the cover of the book?
Yeah. So the cover of the book will describe this for you.
It's just a racially ambiguous woman
who is kind of thrusting herself forward Titanic style, but she's being held back by like a satin sheet.
Yeah, there's like a satin sheet covering her body. She doesn't look happy.
She looks dramatic.
She kind of looks like a painting. I don't know. It's very fuzzy. That's a choice. I guess that's the 90s. There's a general fuzz.
Oh, you know what? The cover of this book says that it's #1 New York Times best-selling author.
Oh,
they don't say that this book is best-selling.
Get 'em.
When did you first watch this movie? Because you said you had watched it before, but before you should have watched it.
100% before I should have watched it. And I knew that before I rewatched it, that I definitely saw it too young. Yeah. And then watching it again, I was like, oh, it was even worse. I shouldn't have saw it as young as I did. But I definitely saw it near when it came out. So I was like probably 7.
Oh, no.
Or something. Oh, also my mom recommended this movie. So.
Oh, really? Specifically for you for the podcast?
Yeah. My mom recommended this movie. So this movie is bad.
Yeah. No. Yeah. We haven't gotten to that point. I don't know when you're going to ask about that. It's not good. The book's not good either.
Oh, wow. Did you read the book?
I've read through half of it. Here's my bookmark. So I was trying to read through it all before I watched the movie. And even at one point, after you had told me to watch the movie, you said, hey, let's do something different. I think that would be more fun. Do a movie that we like. And I said, no. We're going to watch this movie. Mainly because I had already bought the book. I had already put hours into reading the book.
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't want to have that go to waste.
I had no idea. I didn't even consider reading the book. Not even for a moment. I didn't know it was based on a book until today when I was looking at information about the movie for the podcast. But great. I'm really excited. I want you to be able to showcase all the work you put in.
Yeah, I do have to say that the book is better than the movie, and the book is not good. But so far we haven't been joking on anything. We've just been trashing on how Stella got a groove back.
Oh, man. Okay, let's get through some facts about it real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, basic facts. Yeah, it's a book adaptation. It had a budget of $20 million. It made 39.2 at the box office. People consider it to be a moderate success.
People also really were looking forward to this movie at the time. I've talked to my parents about it. I've talked to other people about it. I was reading this while working at a bar, and like customers would come in and be like, oh, what book are you reading? And I said, oh, How Stella Got a Groove Back. I was like, oh, I've seen that movie. They didn't say anything past that, so I don't think that, generally if people love a movie, they're like, oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
When they hear about it. But no, they're just like, yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, it's part of the ethos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The screenplay was written by the author and someone else, and it was produced by a woman named Deborah Schindler.
The List?
See, that's the fun joke to make
joke.
about Deborah Schindler, the producer of this movie.
That's
what I wrote down too. Deborah Schindler's List.
Oh, it came out at the same time as Saving Private Ryan. It was second to Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, I saw that. It came out like a couple weekends afterwards.
Yeah. So good for it. That's pretty exciting. So it opens with the most boring lazy credits that exist. It's just a black background with white Times New Roman names coming up and going away.
Yeah.
For 2 minutes, which I haven't seen in a long time.
At the end of the opening credits in this movie, it did have like a 5-second clip of Stella running in slow motion through a park.
I wrote insanely attractive Angela Bassett runs through the woods.
Oh, Angela Bassett's insanely attractive today.
Oh, yeah,
too.
right?
She's 60?
Oh my gosh.
When this movie was made, she was 40. She was actually the age of Stella in the story.
So yeah, she's 60.
And she's crushing Tina Turner now. So I don't know if she's been in the other movies since the Tina Turner movie, but I know she was in the Tina Turner movie.
She and Kathy Bates are friends. They're on American Horror Story together.
Oh.
So Kathy Bates got brought up in this episode too. So Kathy Bates has been in all the episodes of the podcast so far.
We'll keep it going then.
Kathy. But yeah, Angela Bassett, my God, is so insanely attractive. And she's a stock trader.
She's in money, and she's on the phone, and she's like, "Get me that money, sell, sell, sell."
And then old white man comes up and is like, "I need your help because you're the best."
Yeah.
Help, please.
And the entire time, the camera's just rotating around her, as she's spinning too in this room that's all busy and full of jargon.
They should remake Wolf of Wall Street, but just with footage already shot from How Stella Got a Groove.
Oh no, it would be 5 minutes. Because that's as much of it is included in how Stella got her groove back.
I am confident we could find all the extra footage they definitely left on the cutting room floor. Just hours.
While watching the movie and watching the editing, I couldn't figure out if they had filmed way too much footage or if they had filmed too little footage. You're like, well, we got to put it in because we have nothing else.
Literally everything has to be in the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing makes sense. There's no logical, real narrative that happens in this movie at all. Anyway, Angela Bassett, Stella, is a stock trader, super successful, and randomly goes, she's like, I have a meeting. And she goes to the spa and have spa time with her sisters.
Yeah, the Smurf spa.
Yeah, blue masks.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then her sisters and she start getting in an argument.
Immediate fight. Yeah, an immediate high-octane fight with each other because Stella is a single woman.
Oh, and it's loud, too. They're being very loud in a spa, very open spa, and there's one poor woman just sitting there.
She's not a poor
having
woman.
To watch the whole
she
thing.
likes it. She's into it.
She's like, ooh, spa and some drama.
Yeah, exactly. The way they speak, one of her sisters sounds like a Southern debutante. Speaks like a Southern debutante.
Which one is that? There's like
the pregnant sister.
The pregnant sister?
She's pregnant with twins, and she speaks like a Southern debutante. I have no idea where these women are originally from, like where their family's from. We don't get a lot of backstory about their family or why their dynamic is the way it is.
I can, you want me to fill in with some info from the book, or does it matter at all? Because it doesn't for the movie. Nothing matters in the movie. But
she talks about later about like growing up poor or something like that, and their mother only believed in her out of her.
I do not remember that.
Yeah, she's
she's
the. My mother only believed in me. I would be the success, and I am the success. But Regina Hall is also in this movie and is one of her sisters. And she's incredible and has an asymmetrical haircut that's the ugliest thing I think I've ever seen in my whole life.
Yeah, that's the party, like, crazy sister who's not married or anything, right?
She's the fun sister.
The fun sister.
But she has a daughter. We'll get to that later. I wrote that down because it didn't make any sense. But they have a fight in the spa. Mm-hmm. The fight dissipates by them splashing water out of their foot baths at each other.
And then the other woman...
white woman is just in the room.
The random white woman joins in.
She joins in. And they acknowledge it. It felt very, like, real. It felt like she wasn't supposed to participate in the scene.
Yeah.
And then she just started to. And Regina Hall, as Regina Hall, was like, white woman, what are you doing?
Like Regina Hall didn't even know the name of this extra.
And she literally calls her, like, white woman. It's such a crazy moment.
A lot of these scenes really feel like they kept the camera rolling a couple extra minutes just to see what would happen, especially with the next character that's introduced. Whoopi Goldberg? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know if you knew where I was going with this. I didn't know.
I thought her son. I was like,
oh, it was actually her son that's introduced?
Yeah, she like goes home.
Oh, my God.
Well, we're introduced to Whoopi Goldberg doing an Eartha Kitt impersonation on her voicemail. Which I guess was a hilarious joke that they needed to keep in.
I don't know who Eartha Kitt is. I didn't realize
Catwoman. She's doing a Catwoman. She played Catwoman in the original Batman TV show. Eartha Kitt. And, but that's the voicemail is her being like, this is Eartha telling you to leave a message for Delilah. And then she goes, Rawr.
Oh, okay,
and it doesn't happen once. It happens twice because she calls her twice and it goes to voicemail.
At that point, you just assume that your friend's dead.
She had to go into a sound booth and record that voicemail. Anyway, so they have this weird fight. Hard cuts to Angela Bassett in her dark home, sitting at a piano, playing it, but not really playing it. She's just like plunking out some notes, and it's just dark.
And she's so sad. She's so sad. That's that 5-second clip is just telling you Angela Bassett is sad.
Yeah, she's very sad. But then she's like fun and reminiscing because then she's laying on the floor in a sports jersey.
Yeah.
Looking at a box of photos that we can't see, so we don't know who's
what
in
the photos
or
are.
what she's reminiscing
She also
about.
has the TV on.
She does have the TV on and watching some sport, because you hear it a little bit, them being like, number 57, or something. I don't know. But she's not watching the game, but she is so into sports that she has to, even when she's alone, put on her jersey.
To show her support. Just to the TV.
Just sit alone.
But the whole time the TV is just background noise, because then she does make a phone call to the judge, the guy that her sister was trying to hook her up with.
Right, her sister wants her to be with somebody. She says that she needs a husband and a father for her son.
Did we mention that she's divorced and that's why she's sad? No, she's not sad because she's divorced. No.
She's sad because her son, she took her son to the airport to send him, I guess, to hang out with his dad.
Yeah.
And now she's alone in her house playing the piano and putting on her jersey and looking at photos and calling a judge. And while she's on the phone, an ad comes on the TV, like a tourism ad for Jamaica.
Mm-hmm. And she's in the commercial. She's in the ad.
That transition is one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
It is from a horror film. If you see yourself on TV looking out from the TV at you, no, I'm leaving the house. I'm unplugging the TV.
No more TV. I all caps just wrote, the white woman takes off her hat in the commercial and transforms into Angela Bassett. It's so scary.
This conversation with the judge is a great comedy of errors, because Stella starts talking to the TV, to the Jamaican ad, but while she's on the phone with the judge like asks her out on a date, and Angela Bassett says, "Oh yeah, maybe I should go," but not to the judge, to the TV.
Yeah, to
so then
the
judge is
ad.
confused.
Yeah, and she's just like, "Oh, that's so hot," and like there's like a hot man running on the beach or something, and he's like, "Oh, I appreciate you being so forward."
This doesn't happen in real life. People don't.
I've never seen a commercial that has made me talk to it.
Yeah.
At all.
Maybe we just reached a peak in advertising in the 90s. No? Oh, that's all I was going
That's
with.
what Mad Men is. Mad Men made a mistake. It shouldn't have been about the 50s. It should have been in the 90s. And about tourism ads. They're literally changing people's lives. But she gets off the phone with the judge, and he's like, "Oh, let's go on a run or something." I don't. They ultimately, like, that's kind of what they decide. She likes to run.
Yeah, that's her thing.
It's her thing, and so he's like, "Oh, let's go on a run sometime." Then she's like, "Oh, yeah," and hangs up, and then calls Whoopi Goldberg, her best friend.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't answer, but Eartha Kitt voicemail is on.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Hey, this might sound crazy, but let's go to Jamaica." And she puts down the phone and then immediately picks the phone back up.
Immediately. Gets the second Eartha Kitt voicemail and then says, "Forget my last message. I'm not going to go to Jamaica. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just sad."
Yeah. Then we get to see Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, who's immediately the best part of the movie.
Oh, easily. My theory is that they did not give Whoopi Goldberg this book. They did not give her the script.
Whoopi Goldberg's character is not a character in the book. Yeah. They created this character specifically for Whoopi Goldberg.
Literally, yes, I'm correct.
You're right. They gave her the script. It was like, "Hey, we thought you could play this character." And she's like, "Oh, so I just get to be her best friend?" It's like, no, that's not what the character is. You don't meet her until she's in Jamaica. She's like, "No, it's okay. I'll just live in New York. I'll be her best friend." Does she work at a clothing store?
I did not understand. I was so confused. We meet Whoopi Goldberg, and she's on the phone with Angela Bassett as she walks into a Calvin Klein store, goes into the display with just a weird little red scarf.
Yeah.
Puts it around the mannequin's neck and is like, "No, that's not right." All the Calvin Klein model mannequins just have underwear on.
Yeah.
So she puts this weird little scarf around one of them and it's like, "No, that's not good." And so then she puts the scarf in the underwear. Then speaks to another woman
who was already there, who was already working.
Who was actually, I think, has that job.
They didn't even close down the block to film Whoopi.
That woman genuinely works in the store.
And Whoopi Goldberg says, "Go get me more bulge material."
Yeah, I need to stuff these packages. And And then also goes to another mannequin and takes out the packaging that's in its underwear and is like, share with your friends.
Share the bulge. Hashtag share the bulge.
How Stella got her groove back.
What is Stella's groove, though? What's her groove? That's the most frustrating part of the book and the movie to me. Did she ever have a groove?
No, that is that's like my conclusion. You just went to the end of the podcast.
Oh,
the conclusion
no.
Stella never had a groove.
Well, hey.
You can't get back what you never had.
This whole time I was looking for the groove while watching the movie and reading the book and thinking about what it might have been. I have some other theories. I'll bring them up when we get to the plot.
So Whoopi Goldberg just talks to her and convinces her to go to Jamaica because immediately the next scene is Angela Bassett on an airplane. And so she goes and gets to the hotel, which is very confusing because she immediately is like, can you tell me which room Delilah is in? To this poor little woman working at the hotel. And she's like, yeah. That's not how hotels work.
Even if you had her last name, a hotel won't disclose that information.
Yep. And she's like checking in. She like has all her stuff. And then Delilah comes around the corner. Whoopi comes around and is like, ooh, girl, come outside. We're going to drink. And I met these men. And just walks away.
They wave to the men. The men are super creepy. Checking them out, looking at them. And then, they walk away from them.
Yeah, they
down
walk
to the
away.
beach.
But also, Angela Bassett leaves all her stuff just at the counter. Didn't complete checking into the hotel. I was out of it. It's unacceptable. It's so rude. But they're talking to each other. Whoopi Goldberg at one point does say, don't scare the white people. And so that's really fun.
Yeah.
But she did. She met there were two men who were former football players.
Yeah. But not even football stars, I think. They said the position that they're in.
Linebacker.
Yeah.
Because Whoopi makes a joke about, like, when's the last time you had a linebacker in your life? Or something like that.
Yeah.
I think that was sexual, but I didn't get it.
Oh, it's not an innuendo, which is a frustrating, again, the title is not a pun. And that line wasn't an innuendo.
But if you just, like, shake your shoulders a little bit and are Whoopi Goldberg, I guess it's sexy. It's a joke.
Yeah. All right. Forgiven.
Yep. Angela Bassett then goes to her own hotel room and is just, like, dancing in the mirror for a while.
Yeah. Stella is very... Stella's very full of herself.
I would be.
If you're 40 and that hot.
Oh my God. Yeah. If I was Angela Bassett, I don't think I'd talk to people. I don't think I'd let people talk to me. I don't think I'd let people look at me for too long. I don't think I'd live on the same world as she doesn't. She doesn't live in the same world that the rest of us do.
No.
What in the world?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So yeah, I forgive that. I forgive Stella being full of herself. I would easily be full of myself.
So that's why she's checking herself out in the mirror.
Yeah, I'm like too confident for the way I look now, so I can't imagine what I would be like if I looked like Angela Bassett. Oh my gosh. Oh jeez. But yeah, she runs. Yeah, she goes for a run.
She tries to get Whoopi to run with her.
Yeah, and that's good comedy because Whoopi doesn't. She just walks away.
Yeah, she runs a couple steps and it's like, oh, that's
She's
it for me.
also like wearing sandals. Just like takes like 4 steps.
Whoopi Goldberg's wearing sandals?
Yeah, she's wearing like strappy sandals on the beach.
Yeah, okay. Don't run in those. Again, I forget Whoopi.
And so Angela goes to breakfast and is eating her breakfast.
Alone, too.
Alone, yeah.
Not with her friend, who she's on vacation with. Yeah, I don't know.
Are they... I guess she has so much money that they just have like their own little villas or something. They're not staying together.
Oh, her room looks very fancy. Yeah.
And because I would want to be with my friend, but who am I? I don't know. They don't live together. She also, Whoopi like lives in New York City and Angela Bassett lives in San Francisco.
So you don't get to see each other a lot. You would want to spend time together. But here's the thing. It's just not beneficial to the plot. If they're real friends, it's just not beneficial to the plot at all.
It doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work out. But
maybe because, again, Whoopi Goldberg's character does not exist.
Was she dead the whole time? Is it
no!
Is the timeline just like warped? Actually, is like she actually like the beginning of the movie technically should have been like her funeral or something, and then we've just been like working. I think that would be more interesting, but who am I? I don't know. But yeah, we meet Taye Diggs.
Yeah.
Winston Shakespeare.
Great name. I thought it was a great name.
Are people for real named Shakespeare? Are there still Shakespeares out there? Comment down below. Are you named Shakespeare?
If you're named Shakespeare, please contact Allie on Twitter and Instagram, and she'll get you on another episode.
Yeah, just because your name is Shakespeare.
Yeah.
You cannot be able to form whole sentences, and we'll still do it just because your name is Shakespeare.
If you're Taye Diggs, you can also contact us. That's
Taye
cool
Diggs,
too.
you can do whatever you want. Whatever. This is his first movie.
This is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even... Hey, good job.
Oh, yeah, it's impressive. What a big role. First movie.
Yeah.
Taye Diggs, introduced to us. So I do appreciate the movie for that, giving us the beginning of Taye Diggs' career.
Is Taye Diggs Jamaican?
No. Yeah,
it wasn't an amazing accent he had.
Why was his voice higher than his regular speaking voice? Maybe that's like an insecurity thing. Maybe he's like nervous, and so his voice was just in a higher range for all of his accent.
He was young. When they made this movie, he was also like 20, the age of Winston Churchill. Because the big thing here is that Winston is hitting on Stella, and he's like, ooh.
You called him Winston Churchill.
Wouldn't that be a better movie?
Yeah, if Winston Churchill
was in
Stella
Jamaica.
get her groove back. Yeah.
On vacation from Jamaica in the 90s. So they immediately start talking about age, because he just doesn't have the same, I guess in the United States it's rude to ask a woman how old she is. Oh, does he? But he just does it because he doesn't have the same rules in Jamaica. Does he ask her about the age first, or does she bring up the age?
Well, she asks if he is a rapper right out of the gate. That's her first question to him.
Which is racist. Very stereotyping. If I were to ask a young black man in Jamaica, hey, are you a rapper? I would expect to get beaten up and robbed.
Well,
that would be so rude.
You'd think it'd be like a reggae artist. Maybe not a rapper. It was a weird question no matter what. It was a weird question.
Yeah.
It didn't make any sense. She's like, what are you, a rapper?
Hey, do you play the steel drums?
It's like a really nice place and he's just there by himself, so it's like he has to have like a bunch of money. Maybe he's like a rapper. Maybe that's... But it was weird. It didn't make any sense. And then she's like, you're too young. You're so young. How old are you? And he's like, I'm 20.
He's going to be 20? Or is he going to be 21 on his next birthday?
He's going to be 21. Yeah, he's 20.
He's 20 at the moment.
And he just finished his degree and got his degree in biology. I was like, that's really young.
Yeah, but he did not like biology. He dreams of being a chef. I don't know why. I don't know why the biology part matters either.
I don't know why he's at this resort.
Well, he's trying to get a job.
He's trying to get a job at the resort by eating breakfast at the resort.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then going to the parties at the resort.
Oh, no.
And I think he's just staying at the resort.
Does he have any money? If he just finished school and doesn't have a job.
How he ever had money.
His parents must just be rich and are supporting him.
Obviously,
they are.
Rich.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
His parents... Well, he probably got a degree in biology because his dad's a doctor.
That is why. He talks about that.
Yeah. Oh, so he was going to become a doctor, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
he was
too much pressure.
in medical school, but I'm going to be a chef right now.
A chef.
Yeah. Well, they meet, and he invites her to a pajama dance party. And she's like, why would I go to that? Huh? And then goes to it.
You know why you would go to that? It's because it's a really fun thing to do with your best friend who you're on vacation with.
Who she, like, doesn't tell that she's going to this pajama party. She just, like, blows her off.
Yeah.
And then
Whoopi Goldberg thinks that she's not going at all.
Yeah. And then happens to see her. And Whoopi still has these two dudes with one of them on the hook that she already told could hang out with Angela Bassett. So that dude is stoked, obviously, and will do anything to hang out with her because she's Angela Bassett.
And that dude who does want to hang out with Angela Bassett, he does have game.
Buddy's got...
Buddy? That's his name?
Yeah, Buddy has an outrageous amount of confidence also.
I like it, yeah. That's the only way you could get close to Angela Bassett.
You just gotta go for it.
No, Winston Churchill does have more. I mean, oh, crap. Winston Shakespeare.
Winston Churchill. Why not? Winston Churchill. It makes more sense.
Winston Churchill has way more confidence than the two of them combined.
Yeah, he's just like so suave and so beautiful also. Like, so he could do anything. Like, I was writing down like some of the lines. Like, I was just like listening at one point. I looked away and was just like listening to him talk. Trash. None of it makes any sense what he says. It's not sexy. It is all, you have to be looking at him for it to work at all. It's so stupid. He like talks about like Cocoa Puffs and stuff like that.
Yes, he really wants Cocoa Puffs.
He loves Cocoa Puffs.
He's written as a child. He is 20, but even 20-year-olds, I don't know.
He should have been more developed than he was because he's already completed a college degree by the time he's 20 years old. That's a lot of responsibility.
True. In biology, seems
hard.
like a big deal.
Yeah, he would have had to be responsible and try and stuff. So it just doesn't make sense. But, you know, that's the point, I guess.
It's just feeding into Angela Bassett's fantasy that she keeps denying.
Oh, we also get this weird thing where Angela Bassett suddenly has an audible inner monologue as she's talking to Taye Diggs the first time.
That's the only part.
That's the only time it ever happens.
Now, that's so frustrating. It started and I was like, I really hope that this doesn't keep going through the whole movie.
Yeah.
I don't really like inner dialogues in movies. I'm glad it didn't keep going. It's really absurd. It throws you off. When she starts talking in her head as she's thinking about Winston, I'd have to say in the book is a stream of consciousness writing. And so it's like she's your friend telling you about her trip to Jamaica. Oh. And every time she talks about Winston, she just talks about one of his fabulous features or how cute he is for the things that he says. She also talks a lot about how great her body is.
Man, pajama disco happens. They go to the pajama disco.
Buddy takes off his robe as Stella and Winston are trying to leave the party. Oh, people start stripping. Like the DJ.
Oh, literally a woman just goes up to the DJ booth, takes the microphone, and says, "All right, everybody, take it all off." And people start taking it all off. Well, only pretty much women start taking
out the top parts, yeah.
Yeah, it's just titties everywhere.
So
for no reason.
If the producers are counting the minutes, and at this point in the movie, they're like, we're starting to lose the male audience that are at the movie with their girlfriends, I guess. We gotta show them some titties so they stay interested. And then Buddy takes off his robe and he's wearing a banana hammock tied with a thong.
Yeah. That actor is an incredible physical actor. Like, he was able to, like, he, like, makes his, like, lip quiver at one point when he's, like, looking at her and he's like, ooh, and his, like, lip quivers and stuff. He's just, yeah. But it was incredible facial control this man has. I hope he has a very rich career. It also gave them, I guess them all taking all their clothes off gave them a reason to leave the party. She was like, I'm not into this. And so they leave the party.
But then they don't go and do anything together. They just leave.
They just leave, yeah. And she just goes back to her hotel room and then Whoopi is upset with her.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing with the child?
We get our first Bob Marley song. I thought it would happen sooner. It's 25 minutes into the movie, and we get our first Bob Marley song.
They should have had it blasting as soon as she got to the hotel. That's a point. I was just writing this down right before we started recording, but the soundtrack is pretty great.
It is a really good soundtrack. I liked all the music.
Yeah, I like a lot of the R&B music from that era.
Yeah, most of it's too loud.
Oh, just like, poor sound mixing?
Yeah, they did not mix it. It's so loud.
Oh, especially during, like, the love scenes.
Oh, yeah, it's outrageously loud.
The love theme for the movie is Your Home Is My Heart by Boyz II Men, featuring Chante Moore. But every time that Winston and Stella end up, like, getting sexy, they just start blasting the song.
Out of 10, yeah. Oh, yeah, because Whoopi comes and is, like, just rifling through Stella's suitcase and all her clothes. Which is really odd because it's like, y'all ain't wearing the same clothes. That's nice. I guess it's like a lady thing.
Yeah.
I think all women just rifle through each other's closets, regardless of whether they can fit in each other's clothes.
What does Whoopi take for? She takes, like, a whole bathing suit.
Like a whole bathing suit that didn't make any sense. She said it was a bathing suit, but it's like a turtleneck jacket thing.
This weird black and white stripe.
To herself, and I'm like, what's happening? This bathing suit's fun.
But that's another part of this movie where I think that they just kept the camera rolling on Whoopi. They never even gave her a script. And they just let her do whatever she wants.
I think they didn't even hire her for the movie. I think she walked off the street into the set and was just hanging out with Angela Bassett.
They had met the day before. It's just like, oh, let's keep hanging out. And Angela Bassett says, well, I got work to do. And she's like, it's cool. I won't get in the way.
Yeah.
I'll just be there.
Yeah.
And then walked onto set.
Yeah, this is after Ghost, so she has an Academy Award. Oh,
oh no.
Academy Award winning actress Whoopi Goldberg in Stella.
I want to know what it was like to experience Whoopi Goldberg in each of her movies as they were coming out, because her first movie was The Color Purple, right?
Yeah, Steven Spielberg saw her doing her one-woman show, Spook Show. I know a weird amount of facts about Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, you've shared with me Spook Show before.
I really like Spook Show. But yeah, he saw her do it and was like, oh, you have to be in The Color Purple. You are it. So that was really cool. But didn't win the Academy Award for The Color Purple.
And she got Ghost.
She won it for Ghost, yeah. She's got an EGOT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this... Whoopi Goldberg in this movie.
This episode could just be about Whoopi Goldberg, and it would be better than the movie.
It would be exclusively better than the movie. Whoopi Goldberg is the best thing about most things, I think. Yeah. Anyway, so they exchange clothes. And yeah, she also pulls out like another bathing suit out of her thing and is like, man, couldn't they put more Lycra in this? And I'm like, yeah, they could, but it's just not in your size. That's why they did it. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. And also, did Whoopi not bring clothes? I thought she worked in a clothing store.
All she was able to take from the clothing store was male underwear.
Male underwear and one red scarf. So weird. She goes to hang out with Winston again, and they're extremely hot. Both of them are very attractive people.
This conversation, Angela Bassett is so wet that she's just covered in drops of water.
Yeah.
Winston looks normal.
Yeah.
But then Angela Bassett looks super sweaty. But that just adds
And also,
to the hotness.
in the middle of their conversation, she just dunks herself under the water again. Just in the middle of them talking. It's just like, I need more of this on my face. It's starting to dry. It comes back up.
Time to reapply my wet face.
And then he's like, oh, I want to be with you. And she's like, oh, you want to get intimate with me? Okay.
Then they just agree. They're like, yeah, we're going to go have sex later.
Yeah. But then they don't. They go and sit on like a patio together. Mm-hmm. And they're kissing. And she's just sitting there. And there's like champagne.
This is the best. Again, Winston is a child. This is just one of those other bits of the movie where they remind you Winston is a child because he reaches into the champagne bucket, gets his hand soaked in the cold water, and then drips the cold water onto her back. Yep. Immediately kills the mood.
Yeah, it's not
the music
sexy.
Stops.
Yeah, it does.
They might as well have just had a record
like
scratch. Winston, you messed up. He goes in the bathroom and starts banging his head, really upset, and then comes back out, and she
gets him back. Pranks make love. Haven't you seen?
Oh my god!
There are so many prank channels on YouTube. Couple prank channels. This is it. They've all cracked it. That's
this
love.
Bit is so dumb. This whole bit is so dumb.
Yeah, she just creates a weird body-shaped mound on the bed covered in a blanket. So Winston takes all his clothes off.
Is very excited. He's
so stoked. She's asleep. Yikes.
Oh, this is it. This is how women tell you that they want to have sex with you. Is by sleeping.
Fully in a blanket, dead asleep. Also, just dead. It's not a body. There's no like breathing.
So at this point, I think what's going to happen is, for whatever reason, Whoopi Goldberg has been sleeping in Angela Bassett's bed the whole time.
That would be really amazing.
Yeah.
Having a good prank.
Winston crawls in bed. But then
Angela Bassett jumps out from behind him.
Onto his back.
And it's hilarious.
And then the music kicks on again.
Yeah, and suddenly they have like this canopy bed covered in all of these sheer fabrics around them. And it's very sexy, hot. I just wrote, is this a porn? Just a lot of weird backstory leading into porn. Yeah, and it's like the song it's playing is a weird pan flute like studio beat thing, like a pre-made keyboard setting song that's playing. And at this moment, I also remembered that my mom recommended this movie.
At least you didn't like sit down and be like, "Hey, Allie, it's movie night. Let's watch How Stella Got Her Groove Back Together." Have you watched sex scenes with your mom before?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah.
All right.
I saw How Stella Got Her Groove Back when I was 7. I've seen. It was an idea. Let me watch whatever I want.
Did it kind of alter the way you think about sex, and then you thought that pranks were sexy?
The first time I had sex, it was just a prank.
Oh no! Oh no!
This is it. I've had sex now. Just prank somebody.
I know what foreplay is.
Yeah, there's a rubber chicken, just a pile of rubber chickens in a bed. Gotcha. We're in love. So their weird sex scene thing, but not really. There was nothing really happening. It was just like weird close-ups of their like bodies and faces. Mainly it was just Angela Bassett's face.
Yeah.
And she stares directly into the camera at one point.
Oh, I don't remember this.
It happens every time they have a sex scene.
Oh no.
At some point Angela Bassett looks dead into the camera and it's just like
I hate spiking the camera, just people looking at me from the TV.
You're not supposed to know I'm here.
Gosh. During the sex scenes too. That's as much as I would love to be Taye Diggs. For many reasons.
Everyone would like to be Taye Diggs.
Yeah.
It's a universal truth.
But I don't want Angela Bassett staring at me while I'm watching her.
Yeah, it was weird. It didn't make sense. I was like, am I Taye Diggs? But no, I can see his shoulder over there. So I'm not. Who am I? It was really scary. But they get it on and then they're hanging out.
Have some pillow talk.
Foot to foot. It's a weird position they're laying in. They're like across the bed from each other, just chatting.
Oh, you know what would be good? We're sitting on our bed right now. If we had been recording this entire time in that position.
That weird position.
Yeah. Where we put our feet by our heads.
Yeah, and on one arm. That definitely went to sleep quickly. He was definitely uncomfortable. I can't know.
The entire time they're filming.
Yeah, just like, you guys, can we take a break? It's just pins and needles right now. You guys are just shaking. It's just shaking uncontrollably. But we find out that Angela Bassett dreamed of making furniture.
That's another thing that could possibly be her groove. The groove of the wood.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. It's frustrating though. In the book, she likes pottery. At the beginning, they talk about how she used to do pottery. And then at the end of the book...
Does she do it again?
No. She makes furniture. So the movie did correct the book. The movie did stop and say,
the writer literally just forget and like couldn't be bothered. Just like look back earlier, like, what did she like to do when she was younger? Nah, well, it's probably make furniture. She likes to make furniture.
That makes sense. Oh, Groove of the Wood. I forgot that I named the book How Stella Got Her Groove Back. I started with the title too. And then I just had to write the book.
It's about furniture. The whole time it's been about chairs. But she loves to make furniture, which is also what Magic Mike likes to do. So I think Magic Mike is How Stella Got Her Groove Back, but is Channing Tatum's life.
Do you think Channing Tatum's real dream is to make furniture, or is that just Mike's dream?
I don't know. I haven't asked him. I should.
Hey, Channing Tatum, if you're listening to this, contact Allie.
Comment below. Do you have a friend whose last name is Shakespeare? That would be helpful.
Oh, are Channing Tatum and Taye Diggs friends?
I hope so. That'd be really nice. That'd be nice for the world. I like that.
All right. Anyway, what's the next bit of the?
Tay Diggs. Oh, he gets the job at the restaurant.
Yeah. So then he has to leave immediately.
Which is what he came to do there.
The next day.
Yeah.
But he didn't get a job at this resort. He got a job at a different resort on the other side of the island, I guess, which is why he has to leave.
And he only has 2 hours of free time in the evenings.
Which really sucks for any job.
Yeah.
But he's an apprentice chef or whatever.
The assistant chef.
Yeah.
Which also doesn't make... He would start as like a line cook or something. You can't walk into a kitchen and be like, I have a degree in biology. Can I be your assistant?
Yeah, no, not gonna happen.
All the other people must have been so mad. But everybody seems really nice to him because Stella literally just like calls the restaurant at one point while they're like busy. And like the chef answers and is just like nice and is like, oh, I could leave a message for him and stuff like that.
That's not, no chef is like that.
No kitchen is like that. With just
No. The head chef's not picking up the phone. Also, when Winston is on the phone with her, he's sitting on the counter. That would get you fired immediately.
Yeah. And he also doesn't know when Winston works. Doesn't know where he is. Doesn't know when he works again. But can give him a message.
Yes, he is my assistant.
Oh my gosh. So they like break up because she's like, I don't want to play these games.
Yeah, she thinks he's being immature and like this is what young people do.
Job, yeah, by doing the thing that he said he wanted to do when they met.
Yeah, but she doesn't believe him that he actually got a job. She thinks like, oh, you slept with me, and she's so insecure. She's so confident in her body, but she's so insecure in her age. The next scene does have one of my favorite lines of the movie from
Whoopi Goldberg?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I bet I also read it down.
Because it makes no sense. They're just standing on a cliff.
They do, okay, so finally they are friends again? We haven't seen Whoopi in so long. And they're friends again, and they're sitting on the coast, like looking over a cliff at the water and talking about this man, and Whoopi's like, but was the sex good? She's complaining about this man. She's like, but that sex though? And then, Whoopi gets up off the bench, goes and stands closer to the cliff. And I wrote everything that happens. She stares into the ocean. There's some light, spiritual sounding music starting to play, which I guess is foreshadowing. And she says, God is here.
And next scene. And then we cut. We're done.
There's been no other like religious moment. There's like one other religious moment that happens later. But it's like, this hasn't been a spiritual movie at all. It hasn't been integrated into their lives or anything like that.
Oh, it was not in the script. That line was not in the script. The scene had ended. Angela Bassett just sat there as Whoopi went off on her own.
God is here.
She's trying to get another Oscar.
Give it to her. I'd give it to her for that alone. So their vacation is over now. None of the timing of anything makes sense.
She met Winston on her second day. Then they had sex on their third day. Then
they broke up.
They broke up on the fourth day.
And then God was here.
On the fifth day.
Yeah. She went home.
And back to San Francisco.
Yeah, she went back to San Francisco. And both her sisters are in lawn chairs on her yard. In her yard.
Just
waiting for her. And her condescending sister, who's the Southern debutante, pregnant with 2 babies, tells her she's gross for cradle robbing. And Regina Hall asked her for money and also wrecked her car while she was gone. And we can tell she's changed. Her character has changed because she's not that upset about it.
She's not upset about the car. And then her sisters are immediately like, what?
Yeah.
You're glowing.
That's that interaction. Oh, also Regina Hall drives an ambulance.
She just drives away in her ambulance.
Yeah, she turns on the siren and also a very loud hip-hop song drives away.
In the ambulance?
In the ambulance, yep.
Are people allowed to do that?
Doesn't seem safe.
She seems like she's bad at her job.
She is. She is blatantly bad at her job because later we see her at her job and there's like someone in a gurney getting put on into the ambulance.
And she's
just on her phone talking to her sister.
Stella, yeah.
And they like bang on they're like, we have to leave. And she's just like, well, wait a minute, I'm talking about this.
We have to go now. The man is dying.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. child.
So then she's
She
home
goes-
now.
Yeah, and she has her son
gets
with her
back.
again.
Quincy's back, who's real dumb. Quincy's so dumb. So Winston calls Stella.
Yeah,
right?
on the garage phone.
Oh no, wait, we missed something very important just now. Stella gets back and is immediately fired from her job.
Oh, right, she does. She gets laid off.
Mm-hmm.
They merged companies during the 2 weeks she was gone and is getting laid off.
So this is the second half of your dream Wolf of Wall Street movie starring Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
She gets laid off. She gets angry. She yells at them and she's like, "I'm the best thing this company's ever had."
Yeah, I better get the platinum package.
So she gets a severance package.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And so Quincy wants to go to Jamaica, and she's like, "We're not poor, but I don't have a job, so maybe not." And he's like, "But we were going to go to Africa, so let's go to Jamaica instead." It's very weird.
Checkmate.
So weird. It's very weird.
There's too many people writing for Quincy. They don't know how to write for... Is he 12? Is he 10? When he's first leaving at the beginning of the movie to go with his dad, he tells his mom to go get laid.
Yeah. He's like, "I want you to go have some fun."
Oh.
He's like, "Yeah, go get it in, Mom. You need to go get it in."
So he's aware of these things. He's aware of trips to Africa and Jamaica.
I'm sure, yeah, because he's walked into the house as his mother is sitting in the dark playing the piano one note at a time and sitting alone in a jersey watching Jamaica commercials.
And he's thinking to himself, like, well, I guess I have to go make dinner again. Guess I just have to feed myself some more cereal. That's the only thing I know how to cook.
Oh, that's our second religious moment, is they say grace. when
They
eat.
pray? Oh.
Yep, and then
I forgot about that.
she goes to take a run,
Mhm.
and Quincy is just hosing down the sidewalk.
For a very long time,
Literally,
too. He has a little...
There's no reason they weren't like, give him a basketball. Or
No.
like, no, give him that hose.
The guard nose.
You know, just like rinse it down. Just like rinse it down and...
He's kind of eavesdropping on his mom
Fully.
when she's
But
on the
how?
garage phone with
Because
Winston.
that's loud. Hoses are loud, especially, I don't know, hitting cement. It's loud. But instead of like taking the call inside, she just sits on the ground and is like giggly.
And this is the scene where Winston is calling and he's sitting on the counter in the kitchen. He would have immediately been fired and kicked out of the kitchen for sitting on top of a counter.
Yeah. But he's like, "Hey, let's hang out again.
All right, cool. Yeah, just
Come back to Jamaica and bring your child. And also your niece that we didn't know existed."
This was one of the worst parts of watching this movie. I thought that Quincy's cousin was just a girl. Like, I thought that someone had allowed their 10-year-old daughter to go to Jamaica with her, like a 10-year-old boy, like her crush or whatever from school, and the mom. And I was so concerned about this. I had no idea why she was there.
Yeah, because it didn't make any sense. I was like, those twins grew up and now there's only one of them. Like, it didn't make any sense. Nobody had ever mentioned having a child.
No, it just pops up. She exists.
She also immediately brings Winston into their like little life.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, these are my son and my niece,
And-
stranger I've only spent 2 days with in total."
I trust you to go play with the kids on your own.
And he gets he's in a Speedo. He like takes all his clothes off, he's in a Speedo and plays Marco Polo with the kids. But anyway, they go to like a bar, and I guess they just leave the children wherever and go to a bar together. And the bartender thinks that they are mother and son.
And the bartender is obviously very attracted to Winston.
Yes.
Making like huge eyes and like these facial expressions that I've never seen a real person make before now.
Yeah.
Talking about how it's so great that this mother and son are together. It's like, oh, how long has it been since you guys saw each other? And so Stella is talking about how she had been apart from Quincy, but then the bartender assumed that, right, Winston was her son.
What?
Kind of a comedy of errors situation.
Oh, I thought she knew that the bartender was into him and thought it'd be funny to go along with thinking that they were mother and son. Because she made like a face when she was like, "Oh, it's nice for you to go out with your mother," and she like made a face.
Gotcha,
Like,
yeah.
And then they
Winston
like went
says-
along with it as a joke. And then the ultimate punchline is them making out in front of her. It's like, this is how much we missed each other. And they make out. And the bartender doesn't like look disgusted. She's just like, "Oh, I guess I learned my lesson." Walks away.
Oh my
Doesn't call the police. see.
No, she realizes, oh, I should not be with this man. He's making out with his mother.
That's a real buzzkill. Even for Taye Diggs. Even Taye Diggs can't pull off making out with his mother. Can't do it.
I know.
Whoopi Goldberg calls, and we see her. She's in a hospital bed.
Oh, yeah. At the beginning of the movie, they had said something about, like, when was your last physical?
Oh, she said, like, a year ago. She's like, yeah, she had been complaining about something. Something hurt her.
That was the only hint that she might be in a hospital bed later. But then she doesn't even tell Angela Bassett that she's in a hospital bed. They're just on the phone. She doesn't mention it
to Stella at all. She just asked about the trip. And then they go to Winston's family's house. He surprises them by taking them to meet his parents, which is unacceptable.
Oh, it's so uncomfortable. Yeah, and Stella mentions it, and she says, like, oh, they're going to think I look like a hooker?
Yeah, because she got rips in her jeans, and she's wearing a tank top.
Oh, obviously what hookers wear.
That's what hookers wear everywhere. Every time I've seen a hooker, ripped jeans and a tank top. We meet the parents. The father says nothing. I was going
to point out. We meet the mother.
Yeah.
The father is there.
Yeah, he's just there. And They
have a very nice home.
They have an insane home.
Yeah.
Super rich, super loaded.
Yeah.
And the mother is like, how old are you? She's like, I'm 40. She's like, I'm 41. Like, what are you doing with my baby? And she's like, he's not a baby. And she said, he's my baby. And then, like, calls her, like, disgusting.
And walks away, and Stella feels bad about herself. But it's okay, because it doesn't matter. That's another part of this movie that just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They just leave the house. They're back at the resort.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
They have a fight, and then they leave, but then it's fine. Until they get back, she gets a note that's like, this doctor called you. It's like a taped letter to the door. And she calls, and the doctor's like, oh, you're next of kin, which is not a thing. That's not how that works.
They don't call next of kin. The doctor's
and also,
not going to call.
she's not the next of kin. That's not something you just decide.
You can say
right on the floor.
Emergency contact.
Exactly.
You can choose who your emergency contact is.
You don't choose who your next of kin is. He's like, oh, yeah, her cancer is real bad. She's had cancer this whole time, and it's worse than it was before. He's like, oh, she told me she told you. So she leaves and goes to New York. It's a weird, uncomfortable scene because she's like really putting it on. Whoopi Goldberg just roasts all their old friends. Like talking about the past, and Whoopi Goldberg just goes in on like this slut. She's like, oh, this one was so slutty, man. She'd open her legs and men would fall out. Horrifying.
Which is not, there's no way that's in the script. That's just Whoopi Goldberg.
100%. Yeah, and she had like a bit about a guy who had like a cock eye, and she like did it with her eyes. She like does a face. She does. She wrote a 10-minute bit for this movie, and they just let her go. And then she dies. And we know because Angela Bassett's wearing a pink suit in a church. It's purple. Tasteful purple suit in a church, delivering her eulogy about how mad she is at her for not telling her she was sick.
Which is always the best eulogy when you talk about, how upset you are with the person who died.
Yeah. In front of all their loved ones.
Yeah.
And Taye Diggs shows up.
It's supposed to be a twist in the movie, right? They don't really tell you that he...
a surprise.
Is he surprising her at that moment?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
How does he...
She didn't know. She's like, oh my God, thank you for coming.
No. That's the worst time to show up.
Yeah.
I had assumed that Taye Diggs just went with them.
No.
Don't surprise someone at their friend's funeral.
Well, it worked. Because he immediately just like moves in with them. Yeah. They live together now.
He had his dream job and he left it for love.
Yeah. He tells her he loves her and she doesn't say it back, but she's like, thanks. He's like, when is our flight? And then they fly back to San Francisco. And they go to take the niece back to her mother.
Yes. Who's having a party at the moment.
Even though her sister's best friend, which I would imagine would also be kind of close to you, right? Like
they weren't at the
funeral, but you would maybe. It's weird to be like, oh yeah, I know she's coming back from literally her best friend's funeral, but like, let's ambush her with the entire family and a barbecue so that we can meet her boyfriend that we just assume is with her.
They surround the car.
Yes, they surround the car.
So the family party scene, I got frustrated with it because the editing, they're like dancing, but then it shows them in different situations.
Yeah, like with one-liners, like these weird one-sentence.
And we meet her ex-husband.
Yeah, who's nice to Winston and gives him relationship advice.
Super cool guy.
I guess.
And then they play the classic line. Angela Bassett is like, hey, you boys, break it up. I don't want my ex talking to my current boyfriend.
Yep.
That's just bad news.
At one point, he swats flies away from an old man.
I saw that. I was like, hey, respect for your elders. I like that.
It's one of the weird cutscenes. They're just sitting there eating, not doing anything. There are flies surrounding this old man and batting them away. That was really good. Then they go home to her house, and it's the house in Weekend at Bernie's. She lives in the house in Weekend at Bernie's.
Really?
It looks exactly like it.
Oh.
Yeah, I was like, why do I know what that house looks like? And then I looked it up. It looks exactly like the house in Weekend at Bernie's. He sees her furniture building room. Quincy takes him to the...
Yeah.
Yep. So we get that. That's nice. They go to the movies to go see some Ratchet movie.
They go see a comedy, but all the young folk are watching the movie, and Winston is laughing with them. And it's just one more example of the age difference.
They can't be together.
No.
Doesn't work.
Because they have different interests.
Yeah, they can't watch movies together, so it's over.
So then as they're leaving, they run into her sister, the southern sister.
The debutante.
Debutante, thank you. And the judge.
And her white husband.
Oh, yeah.
Which is nice that they don't address it at all. It feels like something they would address with how, like, judgmental she is about him dating a younger man. We don't talk at all about Paul, though.
And he acts like a white husband.
He's the white person in the movie. He's it. And that white woman in the spa. It's the white woman in the spa who they call white woman. And then Paul.
The husband.
the white husband. It's very odd.
Oh, this whole exchange with the judge, too, is awkward because he hits on Stella while they're each on their own dates.
Yeah, they both have partners with them.
And he's like, hey, my offer still stands.
You want to go for a run?
Oh.
And he's like, yeah, we love to run. Tay Diggs is like, oh, we love to run. I was like, I've never seen you run, Tay Diggs. I've only seen Angela Bassett run by herself through the woods.
And on beaches.
Yeah, one time on a beach.
Also,
everybody's wearing, like, suits and nice dresses.
Oh, it's the 90s.
At the movies.
It's the 90s.
It's a night out on the town. Do you think they were seeing Saving Private Ryan?
Oh yeah. Well, so her sister and the judge and their partners went to go see a different movie.
Yeah, some like
drama,
critical thing, like critically acclaimed thing.
A mature film.
And they went and saw. It was something super stupid. It was called like Ignorant or something like that. It was like really dumb. I looked at the poster and that's just like what it said. Then they have like dinner in a nice restaurant and have a fight because their maturity levels are different and he wants to pay for the check with money that he somehow has because he pulls it out of his pocket.
That's all the money he has. He spent all of his money on the plane ticket, and then he was feeling insecure from the judge, I guess. Yeah, not being able to spend money on her. I don't know.
It didn't make sense.
So he spends money, but I don't know why they got in a fight about it.
No, and then she's like, you leave Cocoa Puffs in the bed and play video games with my son. How dare you? And so they fight about that, but then he, like, makes it up to her by fixing up her wood shop.
Yeah, so then they're fine.
Yeah, then they're fine. And then he proposes to her.
And he proposes. But not really. He just gives her a ring.
Yeah, he just gives her a ring.
He doesn't go through the whole
and it's
kneeling.
just like a band.
Oh, because he can't afford.
I guess. Ring, but also, like, where did you... What? Where?
Where did he
How
get
does he
it?
also get around?
He doesn't have a car.
Does he have a license for the U.S.? Like, can he drive?
No way.
How long has he been there? How long has any of this time been? Time has not seemed to pass. It seems like it's been a week.
That he's been living with her in San Francisco?
Yeah. It's a very short time.
And they have to do everything together because he doesn't have a life outside of her.
He doesn't know anybody. He doesn't do anything.
And that's the next... Immediately after the proposal scene, they cut to the scene where he's at some sort of event with her.
It's like a PTA meeting.
He doesn't know anyone.
At the school.
And he gets frustrated about that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're having fun in your regular life that you already had, but I can't be a part of it. They get in a fight in a parking lot, and then Quincy has to stop him.
Yeah, and then he yells at Quincy, and then she yells at him for yelling at Quincy, and then he apologizes, and then Quincy is like, let's just go home, you guys.
This is another bit where Quincy's not Ted. He's a very mature kid. I still think he's pretty dumb.
Oh, he's doing the best he can, I think. But so then they're mad at each other, but then it's okay because he's taking a shower. We get full Tay-Dig's ass, which is pretty fun. But then she gets in the shower fully clothed and starts soaping up his back with a bar of soap.
Well, as they're making out.
Yeah, and then, they like zoom in and she exclusively gets under the water. All she just needs to be wet. Maybe that was in her contract. It was like 50% of my shots have to be my fucking skin satiated in water or I'm not doing this movie. Because it doesn't make sense. She's covered in water.
Why she's
it's not
in water.
Pretty. It's so nasty.
Or her hair just starts getting all the weird, like, bit where, like, not all your hair is wet with water, so some of it is still sticking up and dry, but then some of it is crushed by the water, stuck to her skin.
It's gross.
So
and also, like, I would feel like I was drowning, I think. If water was pouring on my face while someone's making out with me, I would get scared. I get really scared I couldn't breathe. I would get drowned. And then they have sex in the shower. They're like, start to have sex in the shower while she still has all her clothes on. And then it cuts immediately to her climaxing. And
crying!
She's crying!
The single tear. And he's, I guess, climax too, and they're just in their bed. Again, the music is way too loud.
It's too loud. Yeah, and there's still too much of the scene. There's just like them laying there.
They don't even talk afterwards, do they?
Nope. Mm-mm.
And then it ends.
Yeah, and she's crying.
Well, the movie really should have ended at the funeral of Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah, it should have. Oh, they have a responsible conversation about their relationship the next day after that weird everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, maybe we should talk. He's like, I'm gonna go do me. I'm gonna go to medical school. I'm gonna go home and do that. And you're gonna live your life. Because,
they decided that they can't get along because he's unemployed, doesn't have any money, and he just has an immature taste in films, and it all goes back to the age gap, and that's all the book and the movie's about. Just the age gap. There's nothing else, but there's, I guess, this intimate connection between them.
No.
They're very attractive
really
and attracted to each other.
Yeah, they're just hot.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, you're just hot, and that's all that matters. So I guess it would work if they were both the same age. All those things would go away. His taste in film would change. His liking to hang out with her son and do fun things with him, like play video games, I guess that would change.
I thought that would be a really positive point. That's one thing that I have going for me, is I like to hang out with kids.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
No.
Nope.
So he leaves in a taxi, right?
Yeah.
And she's standing in the doorway. The camera's way too far away. And she's just standing there in the doorway.
Do you think they probably just didn't have rights? It's probably just her house. And she was like, you're not coming this close with all your equipment.
You have to stand
if you want this
in the neighbor's
yard
with your camera.
Yeah, they didn't pay to shoot there at all. It's just her house.
I'm thinking that at this point, I know what's going to happen. She's going to run to the airport and try to catch him before he gets on the plane, right? Because that's always what happens at the end of a rom-com or a romantic film.
But the thing
she chases after him.
The thing about this movie is that I don't want them to be together. So,
you don't?
No. Okay. I don't think they're a bad couple and they shouldn't be together. I don't believe in their love at all. Yeah, I'm not rooting for them in any world. I was really excited for him. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be positive. He's like doing this for himself, figured out he needs to be like a complete and happy person on his own before he's like trying to change himself for somebody else in this thing.
He's the main character of the film because he actually changes. The movie is Winston discovers his groove.
Oh.
Because Stella, again, does not start off with a groove.
She
never lost a groove.
No.
She doesn't get her groove back. I guess she'll start making furniture.
Yeah, but it was exciting. I was excited because I thought, because he goes or whatever to the airport and all that stuff, and he is like all alone, and she's not there and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's for real. Like, this is really good, and maybe we'll have a scene after this where like it's like 10 years later or something, and he's like a doctor, and they like meet again in Jamaica or something. I thought. And then that's an
interplatonic thing.
Yeah, and it's nice, whatever. But no.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Allie.
No, he turns around. She's standing on the stairs. Like, how did she get there before him?
I have a theory about this. I thought about that too because she didn't the taxi drives away from her house, and then she does that dramatic thing standing in the doorway.
Oh, he was stuck in traffic.
He got stuck in traffic, but she would have gotten stuck in the exact same traffic or her sister drove her in the ambulance.
Oh, that'd be fun. But I think they would have put her there because she was like a fun character.
Right. Maybe they cut it because as Winston's taxi pulls up, also right outside that door is an ambulance.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's fun.
And we already know that the sister is
awful
very irresponsible. Yeah. and will just drive the ambulance with the sirens on. There's someone
actively dying in the back of the ambulance.
She's like, yes, I'll do this for love.
Yeah. And they're happy, and she says yes. That's what she says to him. Yes.
To answer the question,
proposal, I guess,
and then suddenly everyone disappears.
It's really scary.
It's just I was jarred.
Yeah.
I played back that scene to figure out what happened, and it's just they cut from one camera angle to another, and everyone's gone.
Yeah. It's a crowded airport, and then all of them fade away, and it's just them. Someone
did point out that that's what happens in Pride and Prejudice, too.
They're in a crowded airport, and there are a bunch of people around, and everybody fades away.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. Is that Jane Austen?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she used to be a stewardess, so it really adds up.
It makes sense, and that's why she would have written about... what's the name of that era? Victorian era romance? Is that what Pride and Prejudice is about?
Sad white woman time.
Sad white woman time.
Yeah.
That's Victorian era. Yeah.
I think it's most of them. It's most of the eras.
Is England always sad white woman time?
100%. Yeah. Except Bridget Jones. She's having a good time. She's the one.
Margaret Thatcher looked like she was having fun.
Ooh, Iron Lady. Good for her. Winston Churchill. Brought it back. It's full circle, you guys. Thought we wouldn't bring it back.
Oh, it took us so long.
It did. Okay, so the critical consensus, the movie's over. So you guys know. That's the end. That's how the movie ends. It was a very middle of the pack movie. A lot of mixed reviews. It has a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes. Roger Ebert gave it
3.5, 3.5 stars.
No, you gave it 2.5 stars out of 4.
Oh, when I looked it up, I saw that it was. It must be 2.5.
Yeah.
I was very surprised that it was 3.5 stars, and then his review of it was not good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because 3.5 stars for Roger Ebert is an excellent movie.
Yes, they're a bad couple. They shouldn't be together. And the whole movie is...
Nothing matters. But nothing between them matters. Nothing that Whoopi Goldberg says, unfortunately, matters. She gets fired from her job. But that doesn't matter, because it doesn't stop them from going to Jamaica.
No, yeah, there's no stakes.
They get in fights, and they immediately make up.
Even though they don't talk about it. There's no scene of them, having... Yeah, the only scene where they talk about it, their relationship, is when they break up.
And they fight. Yeah. But that doesn't even matter, because... Stella just decides, oh yeah, we made some really great points, but I don't care. I'm still going to go to the airport, get my man.
It's controlling. It's a bad relationship. I don't relate with this movie at all.
No one in the movie?
No.
That makes sense. I don't relate with anyone in this movie. I would like to relate to Taye Diggs in this situation.
I'd like to be with Angela Bassett.
Yes.
Even if she was terrible. I guess maybe that's it. Now I'm thinking about it. Okay, maybe I relate to Taye Diggs. If it was Angela Bassett... Yeah, fine, sure. I'd be in a terrible relationship with Angela Bassett.
In my case, I did start studying engineering and taking a very serious approach to school and life, much like how Winston studied biology. Mm-hmm. And I realized, that's not what I want to do. I want to do something a little more artistic. And so Winston went and did something a little more artistic with cooking. And now I'm doing something a little more artistic being on my friend's podcast. And
you're gonna marry Angela Bassett.
Oh, I do hope so.
Yeah, I hope that too. I'd like to just be kind of close to her in any capacity, just physically close to her.
On the same train.
Just near. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't fun watching this movie.
Oh, I laughed out loud a lot of the times.
Yeah?
Yeah, because it was outrageous. Because it was so unbelievable.
True.
I was like, what's happening?
I do want to just make a supercut of all Whoopi Goldberg scenes. Instead of doing the Wolf of Wall Street movie, we should just do...
Whoopi of Groove. Is Whoopi her groove?
No, the groove I think is still the wood. How are they going to live? She's going to start trying to sell furniture, and he's just going to go find another chef job? He's not going to be an assistant chef. In a sense, he has no credentials.
In San Francisco?
No.
How is he there? Does he have a tourist visa?
It's the 90s.
It's the 90s. You can just stay wherever.
You remember when we were like 4, 5, and 6. You remember the 90s.
Yeah, there were constantly men from Jamaica just living in my house. What?
No, I don't relate to anyone in this movie. I don't think I'll ever relate to anyone in Terry McMillan stories because... May I read an excerpt from the book for you? All right. Oh, no. I'm so sorry.
It's all staying in. It's all staying in. This is an hour
I'm
and 40 minutes.
I'm so sorry. I thought this page was dog-eared. I don't know what this page is. Okay, here we go. So this is Stella in Jamaica. She is on her own in the book. So this is when she's alone and she's trying to figure out what book she should take down to the beach. I decided to sit out on my balcony and read a little of The Grace of Great Things by Robert Grudden, which sounded good when I read the back jacket in the store, but it turns out to be too academic and deep and not exactly beach reading. So I put it down. After a half hour, I pick up the hardcover version of Waiting to Exhale by Terry McMillan.
That's the movie.
Which I bought when it first came out, and I've been meaning to read for a couple years now, and after reading like the first 50 or 60 pages, I don't know what all the hoopla is about and why everybody thinks she's such a hot writer. Because her shit is kind of weak when you get right down to it. And this book here has absolutely no literary merit whatsoever. At least none that I can see. And she uses entirely too much profanity. Hell, I could write the same stuff she writes. She doesn't exactly have what you'd call a style. But anyway, I can sort of relate to some of her characters, even though the main reason I didn't read this book was because from what I heard, a couple of these women sounded too much like me. Although I'm not as stupid as a few of them. Very meta. The meta keeps going on. Terry McMillan just is writing about herself as an author. So Waiting to Exhale is the other movie from her thing?
Yeah.
So Terry McMillan has her character be critical of her own writing. I want to watch Waiting to Exhale. Yeah. Who's in that one?
I don't know.
Is it better?
That's what everybody says. Roger Ebert said that.
Oh.
In his review about that. How Stella got her group back. Incredible. That's so sad. That made me really sad.
To hear that?
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, this is like her being funny and quirky, haha, but then it was too mean. It was too critical and weird. Yikes. Okay. Yeah, Stella, she did not get her groove back.
She never had a groove.
She just never had a groove.
I thought the titles of these romantic books that are kind of comedies had to be puns or play on words in some way.
Yeah, something like that. Mm-hmm. Usually, that is like the thing. All right, well, I don't have anything else to say about this movie. It's been too long already. We have spent as much time as the movie is talking about it.
And we didn't even talk about every scene in the movie, which is unfortunate.
That's really bad.
But it's okay because they didn't matter.
Nothing mattered in the movie. Not a single thing except Whoopi Goldberg and her scarf. I forgot about that scene where she's like crying by herself in her house holding a scarf, and it's like, I miss my best friend.
Oh no!
But it's not the same scarf.
It's not the same scarf
from the beginning of the movie.
Oh, that's a bummer.
It was a red scarf she had, and then this one, Angela Bassett's holding a leopard print scarf. Unless she just made scarves. Was that what Whoopi Goldberg did? Made scarves?
They never made that clear.
Anyway, alright, well, thanks.
Thanks, Allie.
Thank you.
It was fun. Thanks for getting me to watch this movie.
Yeah, I feel like I should apologize, but it was fun. I at least had fun watching it.
If you want to read the book, I'll let you borrow my copy.
Okay. I don't think I do. It seems terrible.
I'll just go get rid of this then.
Thanks everybody for listening. There are more of you than I was ready for, so thank you for being here and supporting me. I've been your friendly neighborhood fat friend, Allie. I'm gonna go try and lose my groove. I'm gonna lose my groove.
So you can get it back?
Uh-huh.
With a trip to Jamaica.
Yep.
Can I be your Whoopi Goldberg?
Yep. And I'm gonna get braids. Maybe braids are her groove.
Oh. Did you notice the white woman with braids?
Yeah. Alright. It's over. I'll talk to y'all in a couple weeks. Bye!